I'm really excited to do my first unboxing video, and this is an unboxing of Race to the Moon. This is the first copy ever made. It was made through the Game Crafter. This project was funded by a grant from the Indiana Space Grant Consortium, in part to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the moon landing. The game here is it's a two-player competitive game, USA versus USSR, deck building mechanisms to see who can be the first one to the moon. Let's take the shrink wrap off and see how it looks. So the box art, I love the box art, and I didn't expect the box to have quite this shape. Let's see, make sure I'm on camera here. As you can see on the side here, I thought the top would go all the way, I thought the top of the box would go all the way towards the bottom, but it's actually two halves. But luckily our box art actually worked okay here. I expected this to be kind of fully on there, but it still looks pretty good. The front of the box. Hard to get it all in frame here. Here's the back of the box. See, we have a shot of what the game should look like, and then up at the top, just do a little adjustment on the camera here. Some of the fluff explaining what the game's all about. Okay, let's get in and see what's in the box. Ooh, packing material, keep things from getting damaged, I suppose. And here we go. Inside the box we have instructions. Oh, it's in its own little baggie. So Michaela Hughes did almost all the graphic design on the project. She did almost all the layout. I did the rule book. It's just a single page front and back. And you know, we talked about trying to add more illustrations and do a little booklet style, but this is really sufficient for where we are. I even put a version number on just in case. And in here we have a baggie of components. So the white ones are our launch success markers, and the black ones are the launch failure markers. Also in here we have two markers for the USA in blue, and two markers for the USSR in red. Those look good, they feel good. Let's see how the bags look. So throughout the game we have USA is blue, USSR is red. These are the baggies. That looks nice. It's a good size. Now, I didn't have the exact size that the Game Crafter offered, so I kind of had to eyeball it, but that looks good. Because what will happen at the start of the game is you'll take, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 success markers, 3 failure markers, put them in your bag. Every time you try to launch a satellite or launch a rocket, you reach into the bag, pull out 3. My hand, I have kind of small hands, and it's kind of a tight fit. When we prototyped it, we actually did little glass beads in coffee cups, which had a nice sound. This is certainly much classier, although it is a little tricky to reach in there and grab exactly 3. So this would be a launch success. Well, that's a good first draw. Now let's see, what else here? If I grab 3 random ones, there's 1 failure. That would mean we have to abort the launch and the player wouldn't move forward. Move forward on what, you might ask? Let's take a look. Let's see, we'll do the cards last. There are 2 player boards. Well, a nice little warning there about laser cut components. The first Game Crafter game I ever played was one by a buddy of mine. And sure enough, some of the pieces had that smell of laser cut. And I know that won't come out in the unboxing, but there's a nice smell of laser cut. So the game is played on these 2 boards. This is the Space Race board. You can see there's a USSR public opinion and USA public opinion. And you know, one of the things that Michaela and I talked about when we were designing this was making sure that all the numbers were readable, even though they're pretty small. And I think that these look really good. This is your hand size at each different level of public opinion. That's good. And the winner is the first person to get to the moon landing. The top board is the sort of the instructions board. And you could play without this. Once you learn the game, you don't really need to have this. But the idea is that these 2 things lay down. Again, I had a hard time getting it all in camera, but I'll do a follow-up video with how to play. But these 2 sit like this. Well, really more like this, and I would be the USSR player on the red side, and across the table would be the US player. But these look and feel really good. They're 2-sided, but they're the same on both sides. I kind of expected that there might be a little binding along the edge. That was one of the reasons why these don't line up perfectly. but really it just cuts right to the edge of the cardboard, which is fine. Hopefully it doesn't get too dinged up, with use, but I think that looks pretty good. Okay, let's look at some cards. This is a deck building game, so the cards are, of course, really important. And, oh, interesting. So, to make sure the manufacturing was working correctly, we put numbers on each card. So this is actually card 36 out of 38. But we had no control over how GameCrafter laid these out on a sheet, right? So when they were cut and sorted, they're not actually in order. I won't bother putting them back into order now, but let's see what kind of stuff is in here. On the top corner of the card, it tells you if it generates research and development or leadership. In this case, the light bulb means research and development. And there's a cost to acquire the card. In italics here, we have some flavor text. And the illustrations were all done by Tori. She did a wonderful job on these cards, I think. She also did the box cover. This tells us which side it is, and in the bottom right is what technology level it is. You may have seen on the board, right, as we move up this track, we unlock new technology levels, and that's what that corresponds to. Ooh, look at that. Those backs are nice, too. Looks even better in person than on the screen, honestly. So, again, let's just kind of flip through a couple of these cards. Hopefully I'm in focus here. Yeah, Life Support Systems is nice. It's based on an authentic cosmonaut life support system. This is one of my faves there. Cold War Propaganda. Nice. And of course, I've seen all these in the proofing process of GameCrafter, which I'd never used before. I'm really happy with it. Boy, these look really good. They feel really good. We did go with the extra, there's an extra cost to have a linen finish on the box and the UV coating on the cards. But they look and feel really good. Of course, if I was going to play this all the time, I'd probably sleeve them, but, I sleeve everything. So let's just look at a couple more. This, the level 0 card here, you can see on the bottom, level 0, that's one of the starting cards, so no cost on that. So your starting hand would actually be a couple multi-stage rockets and a couple Soviet Vision cards. Let's look at some USA cards. Oh, here's one right here. The USA ones have the blue theme to them. So there's the equivalent life support systems based on a American spacesuit design. Same art for Cold War propaganda. Either side of the game can engage in Cold War propaganda. It's an optional tactic. It's actually really fun to pull off, really frustrating to your opponent. Propellant research for the U.S. Bold leadership, that's good. More multi-stage rockets. Yeah. So good, all the pieces look really good. Again, the bag is my only slight concern, that I hadn't accounted for the depth of the bag and having to reach my hand in there, which again, I have no trouble doing, and I think younger players would have no trouble doing. Somebody with big hands might have some trouble. I suppose they could always add them to a coffee cup instead. So I'm going to have to look at GameCrafter and see if when we go to making the game publicly available, if we want to go with one size larger bag, even though it would be a little bit more expensive. And there's not a lot in there, right? There's only, I don't know if that'll show up on camera or not, there's only a couple things in the bag. And during the course of the game, you add, well, maybe just a couple more of these, probably no more than 4. But still, hopefully that's still accessible to everybody. But yeah, that's it for my first unboxing video. I'm really happy with the work that these 2 undergraduates did with me. This project was funded by a grant from the Indiana Space Grant Consortium. I'm really grateful to them and grateful to my computer science department here at Ball State University for helping support me through this creative process. By the time I post this, I should be able to add a link to actually get your own copy over on the GameCrafter. I don't make any money on the sales. We purposefully set it so that there's really no profit margin, because really we just want to get this game out to as many people as we can. Stay tuned. Hopefully in the coming days we'll have a video showing the gameplay itself. Thanks for watching.